The icon, Sting. A man who has made his mark in professional wrestling, building the sport he loves into a worldwide phenomenon.
You wanted to disrespect a legend, and that's why I involved myself in your match, Joe.
Earning the respect of his fans and peers, and paving the way for the young superstars of today.
I paved the way for you to be a wrestler. You're a bunch of spoiled, rotten brats.
They can't talk to me like I've never been there. I've been there, but when I was there, I had respect.
Samoa Joe, a man who has risen to the top of TNA. He has battled the best in the world today on his way to TNA Gold.
I had a dream. That dream became a reality because of young guys like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe.
And showed no mercy along the way.
I respect what you were, Sting. I just handle things a little bit differently. I knock you off your pedestal, and I make sure you never get back up.
But it is his tenacity which has pushed Sting over the edge.
That guy right there is somebody who needs to learn respect.
And now, on TNA's biggest stage, they will fight for respect.
The single most important thing that separates the men from the boys is respect.
Fight for the names they have built throughout their careers.
You're out here whining about respect. Well, I got your respect right here.
And fight for the TNA World Heavyweight title.
Bound for Glory 08 is mine, Joe.
The icon, Sting, faces the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe, for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
Main event time at Bound for Glory. The TNA World Heavyweight Championship is at stake, and quite honestly, so much more. It's time now for the tale of the tape. The two competitors, the champion and challenger, about to square off. Samoa Joe with the sizable weight advantage over his opponent, the challenger, the icon Sting. Tonight's main event at Bound for Glory, it's for the championship, but equally important, the issue of respect. In a career that spanned over 2 decades. Yes, the Icon's had many major high-profile matches. When he calls it his biggest, you understand how important his personal feelings are. Think of the effect of TNA. Going forward, the winner not only has possession of the championship, the winner also can claim control. Who gains the power? The veterans or the young lions? That's the question we answer right now.
The icon Sting making his way to the ring. It's been all about respect to him. In his mind, these guys are not going about it the right way.
He is an icon, a celebrity, one of the most revered wrestlers ever to compete in the ring. He has never lost at Bound for Glory. The past 2 years, he has won the title there. Now he looks to reclaim the TNA World Heavyweight Championship once again. Standing 6 feet, 2 inches tall, and weighing 255 pounds, he is the icon, Sting.
Don, I think you as well as I feel what is a mixed reaction from this great crowd here in Chicago, Illinois at Bound for Glory towards the icon Sting. On the one hand, you can't deny what this guy has accomplished in that 2+ decades in professional wrestling. But at the same time, is he going about this battle, this fight for respect, the right way, the proper way?
Well, I'll tell you what, we know, though, what Samoa Joe means to the TNA fans, too, but you're right. It's a mixed reaction when we can see both sides.
And here comes the reigning champion. The Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe, has got his game face on tonight.
Brutal, passionate, relentless. He is an athletic marvel and a ground and pound specialist. Punishment is his goal. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 290 pounds. He is Samoa Joe, the reigning TNA heavyweight champion of the world.
Talked about how he had his game face on as he made his walk backstage. And as he comes out here in front of the crowd in Chicago, boy, you can just sense that this is a more determined Samoa Joe than we may have ever seen before.
I tell you what, certain people react different ways when people try to goad him. We know that Sting went on with this respect thing and just how he felt about the way Joe handled it. Joe reacted in his own way. And in his mind, he is the world champion. He's a killer. He does what he has to do. And he's not going to be told by anyone how he's supposed to go about his business.
Let's send it to the six-sided ring. And Jeremy Borash for the introductions to our Bound for Glory main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is your Bound for Glory main event for the TNA Heavyweight Championship of the World. When the bell rings, the man in charge, TNA referee, Mr. Earl Hebner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois, it's your Bound for Glory main event of the evening. Introducing, first of all, standing in the corner to my left. He weighed in this morning at 255 pounds and comes to us from Venice Beach, California. He is the #1 contender for the TNA Heavyweight Championship of the World. This is the Icon, Sting. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing, standing in the corner to my right. He weighed in this morning at 290 pounds and comes to us from the Isle of Samoa. He is the current reigning and defending TNA Heavyweight Champion of the World, the Samoan Submission Machine, Samoa Joe.
I don't think that we can possibly overstate the importance of this match as it relates to TNA going forward in 2008 and beyond.
Oh, I agree, Mike. I mean, think about what's already happened since Sting started on this quest. I mean, you've seen Booker T, you've seen Kurt Angle, all these guys follow along in his footsteps. The Sting comes out like a house of fire, just throwing punches, and Joe trying to figure out what he's going to do, and that's what Joe does. He lets Sting commit himself. Sting almost got himself too worked up. Samoa Joe, it's not just about beating you, it's about making sure you can't do anything. Wow! Suicide dive right through and right on the Sting into the guardrail.
Nearly 300 pounds behind that suicide dive from the reigning champion Samoa Joe. I think the offense from Sting right at the opening bell was maybe an answer to looking across and seeing that fierce look in the eyes of the reigning champion.
I mean, you and I have talked about this so often. Both people make great points. You understand what Sting's talking about. When you get the win, you should walk away and relish it and not try to do more insult to injury. Samoa Joe, though, he's somebody that he feels, look, I take TNA all over the world. I love this product. I'll wrestle every night, everywhere. Where are you? You only show up when the time is right and the paychecks are big. And I can understand that resentment. And I'll tell you something. We've seen Samoa Joe so many years as he takes him into the crowd. We know what Samoa Joe's about, and he's just about one thing, and that's giving it 100% every night, Mike.
Samoa Joe so often has referred to his fans, his so-called army, and he's amongst them right now, taking Sting all the way through the crowd here in Chicago, driving him over towards the hockey boards, and Sting tries to fight back after Sting went head first and face first. Good luck, Earl Hebner. These two men are in a furious battle.
Nice shots by Sting as he used that backhand and put him right into the neck of Joe to stop that momentum, because Joe was feeling it. I'll tell you, you know, you mentioned the crowd, yeah, they get a sense of Sting when he comes out because they know what he's meant to wrestling. But one thing about Joe, once the action gets going, it is so hard not to back this guy because he puts it all out there. He just gives it his all every single moment. And look at him go after Sting and a nice shot to the face.
Joe tries to gain some distance by going up the steps. Sting is right behind him, but now Joe, after a couple of punches, grabs Sting around the head, takes him up several more flights, and then caught him with the shot that time, right in the head. And Earl Hebner is doing everything that he can, everything within his power to try and control these two, but I don't think you can do it.
Samoa Joe going for that high ground, taking him all the way up to the top. And look at him, he's going to continue on. He's just proven a point. I think he's letting Sting know that I can do anything I want. But yeah, you were great. Yeah, you meant a lot to all of us. And yeah, I do respect your ways, but you're not going to tell me how I have to be as the world champion.
Look how high up they are, Don, here at the Sears Center. And while Sting is down, where's Samoa Joe going right now? He's headed up towards like a luxury box area, and Joe comes running across, and Sting,
you gotta be kidding me! He just put his body on the line! He just jumped right over the top and just laid out Sting on the steel steps! Unbelievable! That disregard!
Come on, guys, please, we have to see it!
Whoa, what a kick!
He drop kicked him! He made contact with that, but at the same time, you're right, he gave up his body because look where he lands! My God, he lands right on the concrete steps!
Sting was on the other side of the rail on the steps, and he kicked him through the rail! Samoa Joe, I mean, you've got to be kidding! That's just putting your body in harm's way to prove a point!
Remember the revelation that we heard this past Thursday night on Impact during the Jim Cornette-led contract signing, that there would be no return match between these two, regardless of what happens. They're going to settle it tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, you can see that's the mindset that Samoa Joe has. And you got to give Earl Hebner credit. He's letting him go. He knows what emotions are involved in this, and that's what makes him a good referee. He'll get him back in that ring, and he'll get things settled down. But right now, this is just a way that you can't stop. You can't stop. You just got to get out of the way of it.
Before Joe can take Sting and throw him either into the steps or one of the steel rails, the Icon fights back. Couple of shots on Joe amongst the crowd, and now Sting grabs Joe and just drags him right across the row of fans.
Well, he's just feeding off the fans now. He wants to give Joe something back that he's just given him, and he had to turn that momentum around. And look at him put Joe's face on the rail, and he's got a hold of it again, and now the shot to Joe.
Drilled him with the right hand, right on the jawline. And as Sting comes back, Sting up on the hockey boards, and he goes into a cross body block and crashes into Joe, and they go right over a whole row of seats.
Man, they're laying, I mean, think about it, they're hitting those top of those chairs, and they can break your ribs. I mean, you can hear the crowd as they appreciate it.
Sting now grabbing Joe around the neck, around the head. Gonna try and take him and drive him face first, and does. Back into the boards. Sting, I think there may be some blood coming out from the side of the head of Joe, or maybe from his nose.
It is. You can see it. He got his nose busted, maybe even broke. There's no telling, because these guys are fighting it out right in the middle of everybody. I mean,
oh man!
Wow, Joe able to take his feet out from under him, and you talk about a crotch shot, and now here it comes, that running boot, and he just sends Sting down. This is unreal.
Oh, that big Olay kick by Samoa Joe was right on target, and with so much authority behind it. Sting has been weakened here severely by Joe, who all of a sudden you can sense just by the look on his face, and as he just grabs Sting around the head and neck, you can just sense his level of confidence growing.
I'll tell you what, though, it has been back and forth. Sting, every time it looks like he's in severe trouble, he's able to draw back on that experience, find an opening and turn it around. But Joe, this is a man on a mission. He just knows what he wants to do. He wants to inflict major, major damage. And he's doing it right now.
And I think we have to give props to the third man, referee Earl Hebner, because let's face it, Earl could have thrown this match out, but Earl senses not only the importance of the match, but the importance overall of the event at Bound for Glory, and he wants to see these two settle it just like we all do.
Samoa Joe feeding it. He knows it's a mixed crowd, but those that love Joe are so dedicated. Just because he's so different, you cannot define him. You know what I mean, Mike? You cannot judge this book by its cover. He's been that way from the day we've seen him. He just amazes you, and he's just somebody that's been so fun to call and to watch. And for him to have Sting tell him what he's supposed to be about, it's just too much.
Sting has had so much success at our Bound for Glory events the past several years in Detroit and in Atlanta, winning the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but it looks like Samoa Joe is going to do anything and everything within his power to be certain it doesn't happen a third time.
I'll tell you what, this crowd has turned. I mean, you just heard the Joe's gonna kill you chants going all the way across. They love, oh, nice as he spins around. The big man can get that boot so high up. I mean, he just doesn't change for anybody.
I think you sense like I do, there's certainly a mixed reaction to both champion and challenger. But I think Samoa Joe, the level of respect that he has from the fans here is growing because of his performance tonight.
He just is gonna be who he is. He does what he has to do. It was like when we saw him Thursday night. Sting, you do what you gotta do, I'll do what I gotta do. Handshake, headbutt, just to send a message. If you think I'm gonna do it by the rules, if you think I'm gonna walk the line you want me to walk, well, it's not happening.
Joe attempts the muscle buster, but Sting saw it coming, and instead, after several clubbing blows to the back, Sting leaps right at Joe and drops him down with his own version of a DDT.
I think Joe got a little complacent there. Joe was feeding off the crowd, and he just got a little complacent. Sting saw an opportunity, and there he goes with the frog splash. Here we go, 1, 2, not enough.
Sting splash off the top, going high risk at a point in the match here where I didn't anticipate that coming. Joe got him a kick right in the gut and takes him up and drops him down with the power bomb. Shoulders down for 2 before Sting gets him, and Joe rolls over into the STF.
He just, that's exactly what he wanted Sting to do. He just let him there. He just let him there. And Sting thinking he's getting out of one hold, the next thing you know, he's right into another one and looking at pull back.
He's got the leg grapevine. At the same time, he applies pressure with the crossface, and now cranking back on the head of Sting while he has his arm seized, his arm scissored using his legs.
And that weight that Joe has, if he's got it perfectly placed, it is just unreal. And he does. Sting, where's he going to do? He's got to see the ropes. He's got to slide over. Joe's got the grin, just like this. There's nothing you're going to do. And as he reaches out, he grabs that arm and pulls it backwards.
Hebner says, what do you say, Sting? He was motionless for just a couple of seconds there. I think trying to do everything within his power to block out the pain, and as he slides just a couple of inches over, he's able to take his leg and drape it over the bottom rope for the break.
Good ring awareness there by Sting.
Sure
he was just able to slide enough.
That's
Joe,
the veteran's edge.
You're right. Look at him, though. He's trying to get to his feet. Joe's just got that vertical base, and look at him. He's just toying with him. Oh, look at Steve trying to fire up. Oh, but look at that snap slam. 1, 2, not enough.
All of the weight behind the snap slam, that one fluid move where you take your opponent up, you drive all of your power right across him and go right into the pinning predicament, but not enough to put away the challenger.
I'll tell you though, Joe, this confidence, look at him. He's got a confidence that you just don't think you're going to see in a situation like that, but he just feels like he can do whatever he wants when he wants. Sometimes when you get that way, that's when bad things can happen.
Slowly, Sting back up to his feet, and Joe with power shoots him off into the corner. Sting sidesteps, could be a Stinger splash.
It is.
In the corner, Stinger splash, positioning Joe up top.
Is he going for a muscle buster?
That's what he's going to try. That's 300 pounds.
Wow, he hits it. Unbelievable. And look at Joe get up though like it was nothing. How about that?
No effect as Joe pounds the canvas and fires off chops. That's like a rifle being shot here. The 3 chops. There goes Sting to the corner. Joe in, vicious clothesline. Grabs it right in his face. Oh, slapping him in the face.
Oh, you heard him something about how's this for respect, and now look at him, holding the back of the neck. Just sends him right back down on the back of his head with that inverted DDT.
And this time Sting pops right back up to his feet.
You know, he hit him with that Scorpion Death Drop. He did the same thing. The Muscle Buster on one end, the Scorpion Death Drop on the other, and Sting lets him know, you're not going to beat me at my move.
Sting catches him with 3 shots. Stinger splash, this time to the back of Joe in the corner. A weary Joe turns around, and as Sting comes at him, he caught him again with the splash. Here goes Joe for the ride. Can he turn it around on Sting? Not to be. Stinger splash.
Oh, look at his strength. Catches him in midair and powers him down. Unreal how he can turn things around on a dime. It's pure power. He shakes his head like whatever you got, I can take. Look at that look. What's going through that mind?
I said it earlier. I saw it in his face backstage. I saw it in his face when he came down the entrance ramp. A level of intensity that I don't think we've seen from Samoa Joe in the years that we've had him here in TNA. You could just tell it tonight that he thinks that this is the night that he has to prove to the world that Sting's pleas for respect are not going to be answered. And those are 3 vicious, vicious knees. And he tells Earl Hebner to count it. You know what? You see some moves like that, Don, and all of a sudden I'm starting to flash back to the Samoa Joe match with Booker T in Houston, Texas.
Well, you know what it was then. It wasn't a matter of beating him. I mean, that's what it's about with Joe. It's about making sure that you don't get up. And think about this. There's no rematch here. It may not even be just about the title for Joe. He may be wanting to make this Sting's last match that he ever has. Look at him just kick the back of the leg, kicking it again with viciousness.
And with each lethal blow by Samoa Joe, you sense the same thing that we saw in that match with Booker. You just mentioned it, Don. Is it about beating Sting? 1, 2, 3. Is it about beating Sting to the point where he's not able to answer and to prove that this war for respect is going to be won by Samoa Joe?
I think he just wants to send the message that you just crossed the wrong line. You came into my territory. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to dominate you. I'm going to wish you're going to wish you never got in that ring.
It's at 5. It's at 6. And Sting is not moving. He's just barely moving as he tries to get up and use the ring ropes to get back up to his feet. Joe right back on him
doesn't even let him
again.
finish the count. Mike, he didn't even let him finish the count. He goes right back at him. Earl Hebner now trying to stop him.
Intimidation tactics by Joe as he gets in the face of Earl Hebner. And he's got him now. He's grabbed his shirt.
Wait a minute. Here comes Kevin Nash. He's been a mentor of Samoa Joe. As you see Earl Hebner telling him what it is, telling him he's got to stop beating on him.
We haven't seen Kevin Nash here in TNA in months. Remember what he said to Samoa Joe? You've got to prove it on your own.
He said, I've taught you everything I could teach you. It's all up to you. You're ready. Well, right now, Kevin Nash, and you got to wonder what on earth Kevin Nash is doing and whose side is he going to be on as he's walking around and he's looking at the situation. And you can see Joe is just absolutely irate with Earl Hebner.
Nash surveys the situation from outside. Joe, the intimidation tactics toward referee Earl Hebner. Sting slowly trying to get back up to his feet. And as he comes right at Samoa Joe, Joe catches him with more shots, more rights. And with each amount of pain that we're seeing Sting take here, with each amount of punishment like that DDT, you have to wonder how many matches Sting has left.
Oh, he is. He just trying to, you can see that Earl Hebner thinks that Joe's crossing the line, trying to explain what he was doing. He was trying to count him out. Joe didn't want to end it. And now Sting, look at him, leaning over, reaching down, going for that bat. Going for that bat. He's got it in his hands.
Sting up in the corner. And Kevin Nash just rips the bat right out of Sting's hands.
He's not going to let him use it. And look at that clothesline as he takes him out.
Nash is here to ensure that Samoa Joe has that fair footing, that fair ground against Sting. That's been proven. Pin 2.
Oh, was that close? I mean, it was their master plan. He wanted to make sure that no way did Sting steal this one. No way did Sting use that bat and catch Joe when he wasn't looking. You're going to have to do it with your hands and your feet. And Joe is just absolutely dominating. One shot after another, and here he goes off the rope. Oh, but Sting jumps down. Oh, wait a minute! Nash just caught Joe with the bat!
What the hell did we just see?
He just cracked Joe! The opportunity came and Nash just killed him with the bat!
Kevin Nash has just used Sting's baseball bat on Samoa Joe! Scorpion!
1, 2, he's done it!
Here is your winner, and new TNA Heavyweight Champion of the World, Sting!
Kevin Nash came out here and it looked like he was on Joe's side. It looked like he had his back. But when the opportunity came, he wanted to be the one that took Joe out. And let's look at the replays of this unbelievable matchup as to how Sting became the champion.
Let's go back. Let's revisit what went down. You see Kevin Nash with the baseball bat shot to the back of Samoa Joe. And then it's Sting hitting it. Yes, Scorpion, and the eventual 3 count, and Sting has done it.
Think about that road that those guys have been under. Kevin Nash taught Samoa Joe how it was to be a champion, and he was the one that cost him.
History repeats itself again. Just like in 2006 at Bound for Glory. Just like in 2007 on October 12, 2008 at Bound for Glory in Chicago. Sting becomes TNA World Champion thanks to Kevin Nash.